Welcome to another edition of Bear Down with Brian Jeffries. That would be me. The man next door is, of course, Kevin Sumlin, head football coach at the U of A, entering his third season with the Wildcats. And like all sports on campus, coach, things got interrupted. Your team was in the middle of spring practice, and then, of course, everything stopped for all the sports. And so, first of all, the most important thing is we want to make sure you and your kids are doing okay, and your staff and your players. Is everybody good right now?
Yeah, we're doing all right. It's just like everybody else, right? We're shelter in place, don't leave the house unless it's really, really necessary, which is, I've had my daughter who moved from New York to LA is here, has been here for 4 weeks. Obviously, it's hard to keep a teenage boy from wanting to get out of the house, but workouts and things like that internally with the family have been great. Our communication with our players and our staff has been excellent during this time, and I mean it's as we talked about last about attitude and how you handle this, and the organizations and the people who handle this with great communication are going to come out the other end a little bit ahead of everybody.
Okay, you have a huge roster, of course. How in specifically have you kept in contact with the players? Can you get a number of them together, or is it a matter of kind of touching base with them one at a time?
No, we just like we're doing right now. Zoom is a big deal. FaceTime's a big deal. So roughly as the rules have changed and the number of hours that we can spend with players has changed over the last couple of weeks, We've upped it from really a 3-day-a-week meetings with our special teams, offense and defensively, in the afternoon, which gave me the opportunity on Monday and or Friday to have team meetings with everybody. So whether they can see us like me and you, or they're on their phones or whatever devices that they have, iPads, in the afternoons, roughly 4 o'clock till around so we're meeting with the players 5, a little bit after 5, and about schemes, offense, defense, special teams. But we're also having meetings. Those have been up to about 4 times a week. We're also having meetings just about life and about handling adversity, the problems that the guys are facing, because guys from all over the world, basically. Canada, Germany, all over from Florida to LA. So, our university has done a great job, and our staff has done a great job of communicating with our players about things they need, how we can help, both not just from a physical standpoint, but the mental strain that's going on with guys and families, and knowing people who have been affected by COVID. So I think the support has been there for our student athletes. I think the feedback has been really, really, really well received.
That's excellent to hear. So football is a team sport. Your team obviously cannot practice as a group right now, but all of them can work out individually. Has that been kind of a key with your strength and conditioning people to make sure that all the guys are doing what they can right now?
Yeah, I think people who have looked and seen, I know that I'm posting some workouts from our strength and conditioning program on social media via Twitter and or Instagram. Coach Brian Johnson and his staff are doing an excellent job pumping out those videos. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are lift days. Tuesday, Thursday or more plyo, some cardio days, Saturday. So, those videos are for everybody. Everybody who's in the house. I think they've been very, very creative using water bottles and bags and putting shoes and all kinds of things that that can keep you healthy. The suggestions for our fans or suggestions for our team. We are unable to really monitor those types of things and make that mandatory, but obviously it's good for people, and our communication from our department and our staff with not just our players, our families, a little stir crazy right now. So getting out, moving around, trying to keep your strength and conditioning up. When we do go back, we're going to have to assess everybody at that point, where they are, what they've done, and we'll move from there.
Okay. So as I mentioned, spring ball was underway, interrupted when this hit. What had you learned about your team thus far in spring ball that gets you most excited about the fall?
Well, I tell you, we're fortunate. We actually had 4 practices, any scrimmage that night before spring break. So we went that week, and then spring break, and then after spring break, that's when things really started to get shut down. So 4 practices, we got some work, about as much as everybody else. Some people didn't get really, for the new players and everybody else. It was good for our new coaches, particularly on defense, to really be able to meet with the players and get a good sense in a week about what guys can do athletically, to try to get them in the right position. And now the mental work the last really 4 or 5 weeks has really, really helped us. But that week gave our new coaches and our coaching staff a good look at where our guys were athletically, just try to get them in the right position and build to their strengths.
You had 3 players from this last year's team sign free agent contracts in the NFL. I know you're excited to see all of them. And for those of us who watch those guys, we know their potential. And all of them, would you say they all have a chance to surprise some folks that understand exactly what kind of talent they're going to bring?
Yeah, they're going to they're excited about their opportunities. Obviously, to get in camp and then as I've told guys from the beginning, it's at that point, it's on you. You got to do the things that maybe that organization's asking you to do the best that you can, and go from there. So, it's great opportunity for those 3 guys. I think what I've seen over the last couple 10 years is, the draft's one thing, but in my 11 years as a head coach, there's a whole bunch of free agent guys out there that are making money and on second contracts that were not drafted. So it's a great opportunity for those 3. And I know our team is excited, our coaches are excited, and our fans are. So we wish them the best of luck moving on to the next level.
You mentioned you got some new coaches, in particular on the defensive side. I wanted to ask you about Paul Rhodes, your new defensive coordinator. He has a wealth of experience. What other attributes did you see in him when you made the decision to hire him as defensive coordinator?
Well, obviously he's extremely experienced. He's coached at some big time programs. He's been a head coach, and so I've known him for a long time. Not closely early in our lives, but competing against him as assistant coaches. Both at his time at Pitt, at Auburn, a lot of different places that he's been as a coordinator and then as a head coach in the Big 12. So I think what he brings to the table is his experience, his motivation, his knowledge of the whole picture, certainly being a head coach, but also defensively, and what that looks like. And a little bit of an advantage for us because, he's been in this league too. So, and being in California and recruiting there, and when he was at UCLA recruiting the Phoenix. So he really checked all the boxes for us and for me as a quality defensive coordinator who's been around, understands scheme, understands this league, and understands recruiting this league. I think it was a perfect for us, and I wish we had some more practices in the spring, but hey, look, that's where we are, and we're looking forward to get going this fall.
All right, sounds great. Hey, what you've got a house full there? What do you guys do for fun when you're not on Zoom?
There's school for Jackson, at South Point, so and the other ones here. So we got a couple hours of school during the day, and then we have fortunate to have a little bit of a workout situation here with some lifting and some plyo, those videos that we went out, and then a little work in the pool too. So whether it's getting up in triple digits now, so we're kind of flipping things around. Maybe school in the afternoons, works in the morning, but they've been great. And some walks through the neighborhood, but social distancing's been things I think more than anything else. It's we kind of rotate cooking, so it's it's just to stay away from a lot of different things and really getting out a little bit in delivery and helping some of our local restaurants and local merchants to try to, during this tough time, to try to keep those guys afloat. And so it's been a wide variety during dinner time, but the days have been pretty productive.
That's great. Well, Coach, you look good. Now, a lot of us haven't been able to find a haircut, and you look like you're in great shape right now.
We were laughing about this beforehand. That's probably the first time we have staff meetings at 8:30, which has been great with our whole staff, which gives us, because of the time difference from East Coast in Texas and back, it's 2 hours difference. So our guys are able to get some information before the staff meeting and afterwards here on the West Coast. But I think they're going to be shocked because this is the first time in 4 weeks I haven't had on, out of respect for fans. And so I don't know what it looks like, but it's pretty rough. It's long as it usually is, but trust me, as soon as I get off here, I'm going to be back to a t-shirt and a ball cap.
Okay. Well, we're all in it together, Coach. Hey, I want to thank you for your time. We hope to see everybody back together on campus very soon, obviously. And I know the fan base excited. They want to see football again.
Yeah, it's as I was talking about, Dennis Polian and myself are on a number of task force, either from our university, from regional task force to conference task force, with other head coaches in our league, to some national situations that we're all discussing what the return to play looks like, and what that looks like for this season, from a safety situation, from our guys to testing to everything else for the fans. So our job, and as we've done for the last 4 weeks, but really has really ramped up here lately, just about what does return to play look like? When is that going to be? And our jobs are to plan to play football this year and in the safest way possible. And if that opportunity presents itself, what does it look like? So that just for fans to know and for everybody else to be aware of, that process is ongoing daily. And as I said, locally and even internationally with a number of international students. So it's a work in progress. Obviously, at the end of the month here, May 1st, we're going to have another look in by certain committees in May 6th. So we'll see where we are. So as information starts to trickle out here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to keep our players, our fans, our parents, everybody abreast of what that looks like and what this fall is going to look like as far as college football goes.
All right. Great news, Coach. Thanks for your time. Best of luck. And we will see you soon on campus.
All right. I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you.
All right. Head coach Kevin Sumlin, Bear Down with Brian Jeffries. We'll see you again next time.